Good morning. This is Bill from Auto Europa Naples on a mercifully dry Wednesday morning. We've had about 5 or 6 days of biblical rain. Well, if in the Bible the rain was sort of a pissy little rain that didn't do much other than just get you damp and make it impossible to get anything done. So it's just been annoying. Today is dry. It's supposed to be hot. Of course it's hot. It's Florida. It's summer, so it's going to be hot. I'm sure there's going to be mosquitoes in the air the size of sparrows, but we are going to persevere, and it's nice to be back, and it's nice to be back with this 1996 Ford Mustang Cobra. That brings up something that's a pet peeve of mine. I know, obviously I have enough pet peeves to be an animal hoarder, but this one's a little bit rare, thank God, and that is cars with conflicting animal names. It's something that always has bothered the absolute crap out of me, primarily because of the Mustang Cobra. I mean, horses and snakes are basically natural enemies. I mean, if you put them together, both of them are going to be pretty pissed off. The other car that's a big offense is that Volkswagen Tiguan with that tiger iguana thing going, which is also completely ridiculous. I mean, try mating those two. So thank God this is something car companies don't do very often, is conflict their animal names, because it would just bother the crap out of me, and I'd walk around even more annoyed than I already do. Anyway, going back to this was the first modular Cobra. That has to do with the engine. We'll get into that. This is a 96. It's finished in laser red, a name that I wish they'd improved on, but it's fine. And it's a pretty rare beast. In fact, they only made about 1,900 of these in laser red. In 96, they also made one of those really creepy looking color changing paints that I've always hated. It was fine maybe when they were putting them on new Mustangs or new Cobras, but when you started seeing it on old Luminas with a temporary spare, it just became kind of a sign of somewhere you don't want to be. And they always talk about how there were only 2,000 of those made. Well, I mean, there's fewer of the laser red ones made, so, I don't know why they go on about the rarity of the whatever the hell that paint is called. Doesn't matter anyway. But there it is. So 96, first modular Cobra. This thing has 25,000 miles, and I'd call it in showroom condition, but that's not entirely fair because it's better than that. I mean, these cars were pretty much turds in the showroom. They weren't from an era of Ford that was particularly well built. I mean, obviously it was an improvement over the 80s, but the fit and finish and quality and all that stuff was not the best when it came out. So for somebody to have preserved this car in this condition took a monumental effort, something that I just wouldn't have been able to do. It's one of the first 23-year-old Mustangs that I've been greedy about, thought about owning personally, which again is weird because I'm more of a GM guy. I've always sort of felt Fords were an arch nemesis, at least back in the day. I guess I don't care as much now. But I have been greedy about this car, but I know that I couldn't be a good steward to it because it's just in a kind of condition that I don't have the energy to keep up. I mean, you'd want to keep it in some sort of climate-controlled storage, not let anyone around it, obviously never let a child near it, and, keep it the way you would the crown jewels. The styling is quite nice. It's a result of a challenge from the president of Ford, Peterson was his name in the 80s, to their chief designer saying, our cars really look like crap. Could you kind of stylize them a little bit, make them look a little bit better? And the chief designer did. This Mustang definitely, everyone loves the Fox body, that boxy Mustang that came before it, but inarguably from a design standpoint, this thing's better looking. You see those huge twice pipes at the bottom, the Cobra, imprint in the bumper, SVT badging, which is Special Vehicle Team from Ford. Used to be called SVO in the 80s, and that's a name that I could sink my teeth into. I wish they'd kept that. Special Vehicle Operations. To me, that sounds better. SVT sounds like something you might catch, at a bar in a bad part of town, but... Anyway, first modular V8 car, modular V8 Cobra, sorry, and let's get into that. Oh, God, all right, we'll do the trunk really quick. All right, God, that paint is just gorgeous on this thing. I just can't get over the condition of this car. I didn't even detail it. This is the way it came in. Our detailer would have made this look worse. Anyway, pretty good sized trunk space, not too shabby. You'll be able to fit some, guitar amps or, sacks of concrete in the back or whatever it is you need to haul around in your Cobra. Maybe, a farrier kit and a snake grabber or something. But, it's all cheap. I mean, this is cheap stuff, but it's fine. There's this sort of cardboardy thing that goes here. And, it's a mass-produced car. They didn't put a ton of... What do we have, an extra antenna? They must have put a shorter antenna on it, and this is the original. So yeah, it's got the original antenna there because they must have jammed on a short one. Well, that's thoughtful. But anyway, it's fine. It's a nice trunk. You'll be able to put what you want in there, and it's good enough to get the job done. You see those VIN stickers on the quarters there and there. Those are irreplaceable and let you know that it's got the original sheet metal on the car, which is a good thing. I like that spoiler as well. Secretly, I like it. Don't tell anyone. And blades of grass. All right, let's have a look under here. Those two little vents in the hood, one of the things that distinguish the Cobra from what is that cat hair or something? One of the things that distinguish the Cobra from otherwise looking identical to the much less expensive GT of the same year. It's one thing people didn't love. We also have a very antiquated style prop rod. In the collector car world, what you want to see is absolute originality. And this car has it. There's none of these stupid big, kitty looking air filters, rim air intakes, crossbars with, logos on them. You just have an absolutely mint original engine compartment. There's the Cobra badge. Every one of these things was signed by the two-person team who put it together. A little bit AMG style or Aston Martin style. I wonder if Betty Rodriguez had anything to do with this one. But otherwise, anyway, no upgrades at all, which is great for the collector car thing. Now, this engine is called modular. And what a modular engine is, at least in terms of what Ford was doing, was an engine that they could build in a variety of different arrays and styles and setups, including different cylinder counts even. The V10 and the V8 are basically the same architecture with the same bore spacing. This one has 4 overhead cams and really launched this Mustang into the modern era from that pushrod frying pan V8 they used to have, which, everyone loved the 5-liter, but this was a definite improvement and put it much more on par with what GM was doing on the time. And this car, this 96, was sort of the re-entry of Ford into the pony car wars. They had ceded to Chevrolet or GM at this point. The Firebird and the Camaro were faster, more modern, more, boy racerish, and Ford guys were going nuts. They wanted a Mustang that could compete, and this car was the answer. So 305 horsepower, again, double overhead camshafts, not a huge torque rating. It behaves much more like, we did that M3 the other day, sort of this high revving, Formula One style, if you will. In fact, this car was built by an Italian company that did put together Formula One engines for Ferrari. Every one of these blocks was imported. So it does have that sort of European-style road racing feel to it, while at the same time it delivers, everything that the previous engine did while getting better gas mileage and better performance figures. So genuinely just a terrific step forward from Ford, and a great machine at this thing. All aluminum, iron liners, but otherwise aluminum, and beautifully tuned to be pretty peppy and pretty quick. And this one would keep up for the most part with the Z28 of the time. So Ford was back. There you see those VIN stickers on the fenders there, hood, other fender. Again, all telling you that this thing's original and as it came with no add-on sheet metal. Press back down. Absolutely incredible. The way the headlights, the lack of rock chips, the lack of bumper wear. I mean, if you are looking for the ultimate collector quality Cobra here, this could be the one. These wheels, not original, but they are Ford geek wheels, if you will. I mean, they're very proper for a Mustang, the SVE wheels. They're Mustang only, basically. This was the Gen 1 series, which was their most popular. And I've got to say that as far as a wheel choice for this car, it is an improvement, and that is the one thing you have to do. If you're going to put wheels on your car, other than the stock wheels, then you better make sure it looks better than it did with the stocks, and that is most certainly the case in this. The nice light gold finish, the three-piece design, absolutely stunning wheel and tire combo on this car, and very, very proper. You see the upgraded brakes it had as the Cobra. You see that Cobra badge on the hood. Fortunately, no Mustang next to it to, piss it off or scare it. And big brakes there in the back. Stainless exhaust, all very nice. Like the little vents behind the door. Love the little quarter window. It's got this little Hofmeister bump or whatever the hell they call that styling cue, originally thought of by that BMW guy. It returned to these vertical style tail lamps. Look at the clarity of that. I mean, it's absolutely insane, this car. I just could not keep it in this condition if I tried. But again, returning to a very vintage style taillight, bringing things back. You see the big Mach 1 speakers on the back. This thing does have the upgraded sound system. All right, let's have a look inside. Now, I do like the frameless glass. I hate it when you've got a big window frame surrounding it. And that's a ballsy move on a mass-produced car because all this stuff can get worn out and tired. And in fact, I'm sure it is on most 96 Mustangs in the world. Very simple and elegant door panel. I won't say it's, the best fit and finish, the best quality, the most likely to stay together. But in this car, it's still essentially like new and still looks that way. So everything nice and proper there. The seats, no leather medic, no, touch up at all, just exactly the original patina on them. Perfect for collectability. Very, very nice. Ditto the steering wheel. You see those big, thick pile original Cobra mats. You do have some space. And let's go to the other side for that. Now, you wouldn't want to be in the back seat of this car. I mean, it is a pretty crappy place to hang out. It's small. Your Canadians are going to be kind of offended, but they will fit back there. You can also pull those little tabs and get some pass-through carpet area for your big cargo if you need golf clubs or sniper rifles or whatever long stuff you need to carry with you. While I'm here, I'll do this. Here's the original set of books. Also has the original window sticker, which is something you want to see for collectability. Everything's so hard to do one-handed, especially as I get older. There you can see this thing was a $26,000 96 Mustang. Did have the preferred equipment package, which gave you leather and the upgraded sound system. So that was about as optioned out as this thing would come. All very nice to see that still there with the car, adding to its originality and collectability. Okay, inside, particularly in this black color, it really is quite the essence of simplicity. Move my seat back a little. You see very nice white-faced gauges, very simple to read. They contrast nicely with the black surroundings. It's got these weird sort of dashboard humps that harken back to the first Mustang and many Mustangs after. Little pop-up pod for your clock there. You've got in-dash, obviously, and where the hell else would it be? Air conditioning controls, nice cold air. Here's that upgraded sound, AM/FM cassette with all these nice little soft touch controls. Nice to see the original radio, also the optional CD changer or CD player down there. Here you've got a Borg-Warner transmission, 5-speed, bulletproof. Went in a lot of Mustangs, can handle more horsepower and torque than this engine has even. And is, it's not the smoothest shifter in the world, but it's a great shifter for road racing or racing in general, and it can handle whatever you want to throw at it. So you've got fog light controls there. Everything just neat and proper and clean in here, as one would expect from a car that's been kept like this. You got a key in. Reverse fire it up. Bings at me a little bit. You know, one thing that, again, that I like about this car, it has no big, scary, horrible rumble out of the back. It's pretty quiet. I mean, obviously you got a little bit of a growl there, but it's all factory exhaust on this car, completely untouched from the way it came. So nobody's put on, you know, big cherry bombs or glass packs or something to, you know, make it shake the neighbor's windows out in the morning. If you want to do that, you can, but again, part of the mission of this thing is to be all original and collectible. So let's go for a spin. I'm going to do that thing where I have to shift left-handed and steer, and you know, somebody said I should wear a GoPro on my head. I tried that once, and not only did it look ridiculous and demeaning, you know, for people who would see me. I mean, I have some dignity, for the love of God, but the video quality was pretty strange. You know, it looks good in a race car or a action camera type setup, but when you're doing one of these videos, it doesn't work at all. All right, so you get these nice little power humps on the hood. I quite like that. That's a distinguishing feature from the standard GT. Get some air going. Jeez Louise. So 305 horsepower, about 300 pound-feet of torque. You know, put it roughly, oh geez, that's a nice grind there. Sorry about that. Put it roughly on par with the Z28 of the time. And it would turn in, because it was lighter, a very similar performance figure. You had about a, I want to say they put it at like a 13.99 quarter mile time, 0 to 60 in the 5s, and was very, very quick in a way that the Mustang that came before it was not. Second gear start. You feel that nice power curve along the rev band, and that's part of what that 4.6 modular does for you. You know, it gives you all the low-end guts of the 5-liter, but it adds this whole new level on top that lets you just wind out a gear. Also, the suspension is very, very nicely tuned to make this a drivable car. You don't feel like you're getting buffeted and jostled over bumps. You just feel like it's a nice, smooth daily driver that can really sort of wake up when you want it to. These things did turn in pretty good track times. I think Car and Driver did a road race course with the Firebird, the Mustang, and the Chevy, and I don't think the Mustang did as well as the other two in terms of times, but every driver liked it the best in terms of the way it was controllable, predictable, easy to recover, and just a very nicely balanced chassis. So there it is. Look, I'm not gonna, this thing's too nice to beat. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of V8 on it. Oh yeah, I mean, that's just sweet. And you know, you don't get this big loud crazy sound again with the factory exhaust in place. But this thing is more, I don't know. I mean, if I owned it, I'd have a very hard time beating it up. This thing's just so perfect and so collectible. It really is better as a garage queen at this point. Nice tight steering, turning radius, fair, but feels nice in the hand, the wheel, and just that lovely torque curve. So there it is, 1996 Ford Mustang Cobra, your top-of-the-line Mustang in that year. This one, 25,000 miles. It's been obviously kept and maintained by some sort of German surgeon or something. I mean, I don't know who had this thing, but you know, this is above and beyond garage kept. This is to the point of obsession. You know, climate controlled storage, you know, machine gun turrets warding off anyone looking at it. You know, this is a new 96 Cobra if I've ever seen one. If you have an interest, give us a call, 239-298-8000, on the web at aenaples.com. Thank you so much for having a look. We appreciate it. We'll see you with the next one. Take care.